Investors, with your Wall Street here. We're going to have a little fireside chat and a discussion into historical data of AMC's price action. This video is going to be a little different than some of the other ones that I've done, in the sense that we're going to have a talk. Because I think it's time that we chat. So, you may or may not be aware, but on the date that AMC and APE converged into one, there was 110 million failures to deliver when you account for the reverse split. On AMC stock, the old AMC stock, there were 50 million failures to deliver. 50 million. And on that same day, on the new AMC stock, there was 6 million failures to deliver. Now, when you account for the reverse split, that 6 million is really 60 million, right? So 50 plus 60 million is obviously 110 million failures to deliver. So the date that APE converged with AMC, they merged together. And then the following day, a 10x reverse split occurred. There were 50 million Ftd'S on AMC stock, the old one, and 6 million on the new one, for a total of 110 million failures to deliver. When you look at the historical price action of AMC share issuances, you will see that on January 15th of 2021, AMC was around $1 a share. January 15th of 2021, at $1 a share, AMC had finished their share issuance. About 2 weeks later, January 28th, you guys may or may not know, but AMC was up 2 weeks later around 1,200% on January 28th. That's the same day that broker-dealers around the world pulled the buy button. You heard that right. That's the day they took away your ability to buy shares of AMC because the stock price was out of their control. Same thing happened with GameStop, and same thing happened with COS. Hey Dana, hey UPS, hey everybody, I see you guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, that was on January of 2021 when AMC diluted and issued shares on the 15th of January. Stephen Russell asks, boss, do you think a 21% dilution will be a bigger move than the 8% dilution back in May and June when it went to $72? Yes, my friend, I do. And that's why we're having this discussion right about now. On we already talked about January. On May 13th of 2021, AMC finished another share offering of 43 million shares. At the time, the float of AMC was around 900 million shares. In May of 2021, they issued 43 million shares. That's where the 8% dilution that my friend here was talking about. AMC stock price went from around $10.90 a share to an intraday high of $79 per share. Black Widow says we're up 8.73% on AMC right now. Keep me posted on that, my friend, and everybody else. Keep me posted on AMC today. Because this week right now, what you're seeing right now, this week is exactly what I've been waiting for since the moment AMC announced that they were going to dilute shares. 9% says Shining Bright. Very good. That means we're up around 70 cents to probably somewhere in the $8.30 range. Now, let's talk May. May 13th, 2021. AMC issued 43 million shares when the float was around 900 million shares total. June 2nd, 2021, AMC reached an all-time high of around $79 a share. At the time, that was up around 3,400% from its all-time lows. Again, that took about 2.5 weeks from the share dilution being completed. Let me grab my coffee here. The reason that it takes time after share dilution for the stock price to go up is because of settlement. It sometimes can take several weeks for settlements of shares to actually have an impact. So, to recap, AMC diluted January 15th, and on the 28th of January, about 2 weeks later, we saw all-time highs. Well, not all-time highs, excuse me, but highs up around 1,200% at the time. May 13th, 2021, AMC diluted 43 million shares with a 900 million share float. And AMC went from $10.90 to $79 a share in about 2.5 weeks. Are you starting to figure something out here? Are those gears clicking in your brain? Because this time around, thank you, Yvonne. Love you too. Appreciate your support. This time around was also on the 13th, September 13th of 2023. September 13th of 2023, AMC issued 40 million shares on the open market, just like what we saw on May 13th when they issued 43 million. Except the difference is 2021, May 13th, there was around 900 million shares of AMC. September 13th, when they issued shares, well, including the 40 million shares that they issued, there's only 198 million shares of AMC stock. It's about 5 times fewer shares. Now, there was a larger percentage dilution September 13th, 2023 than it was May 13th, 2021. That means that there are 5 times fewer shares on the market than there was at that time. So we're about the point where we're right around 2 weeks post-issuance. And this is what I've been waiting for. This week right here and the next week are the weeks that I suspect are going to be extremely exciting. Now you may be wondering why I'm making this video after AMC is only up around 9%, 10% for the day. Well, let's go to my computer and take a look at that historical data, and we will see exactly why I'm bullish on only a 9% gain. Cheers, motherfuckers. We're going to be filthy fucking rich. Follow me. Let's go. Welcome to Dallas. Welcome to my new home. As I told you guys in the past, my family and I have moved to Dallas, Texas, because it is time for a new broker-dealer to join the markets. You're going to hear my kids in the background. You're going to hear a little kiddie music, but no matter. So that's besides the point right now. Bring this down just a bit. AMC customer support. Welcome to Boss on a Loft. That's right, my friend. I moved my office to the library on the loft because I like being next to windows. I like having space. Let me close this so you guys can actually see me without a bunch of distortion here. Don't need these anymore, do we? Give me 1 second while I get this computer going. Now, the historical data on AMC can be found, for example, on stocks like yahoo.com. You can go to yahoo.com and specify exactly what dates you want to see. And that's what we've done in the past. That's what we're going to do again. Wolfie, come on over, brother. I got a guest bedroom ready for you. Come on through. Fly right on to DFW or Love's Field. I'll send a car. Now, what happens is that upon share issuance, the price doesn't spike immediately. Now, in the past, I did misspeak on the dilution because I had not looked at the historical data in a long time. But after further examination and discussion, I've come to the realization that it's not upon dilution that AMC's shares begin to move violently. It's usually about 2.5 to 3 weeks after the dilution. And that's why we're going to pull up that historical data. And if you want to do it for yourself, go to yahoo.com, go to historical data for AMC stock, and you can enter the dates. Enter, for example, May 1st through June 15th, 2021. Enter January 1st through February 15th, 2021. And then check out September 1st through today, 2021, which is currently September 25th. And what I've been looking at over the last week and a half, 2 weeks now, is that the price action and the volume, the volatility, and the patterns on the charts, the algorithms have been handling exactly the same as they did the last two instances of massive volatility. Now, the reason that we're doing this on my phone is because my good old blue microphone here, the cord has now finished breaking, let's say. The outside is not showing damage, but the internals are definitely messed up because it's not allowing me to connect to the computer whatsoever through that cord. But as you guys know, I'm not a professional YouTuber. This isn't my job. I have other things that I do for a living, and YouTube is not my main priority. So I'll get to the store and pick a new one up here in the short-term future, but right now that's not really a concern of mine. Excuse me 1 second while I pop up my Twitter, historical data on Yahoo, and we can take a look right now. Just close out a bunch of shit here. Yahoo.com. While I get this pulled up, I just want you all to know that Evergrande's actually down about 20% from yesterday. That is because Evergrande is not able to meet the terms to pay off their most recent bond. And that is exactly what I've suspected. Let me give this a quick spin around here, all right? Give me one moment here. I'm going to spin this around. All right, let's take a peek here. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. The zoom function is not great on these phones. So let's go to May 1st, 2021, and end it June 15th, 2021, just for kicks. As you can see right now, AMC stock's up around 63 cents, an increase of about 8%. So show historical prices, frequency daily, apply on Yahoo for AMC stock. Take a look here. AMC's share issuance was on May 13th. You got to remember, this is accounting for the share, for the reverse split. So what you got to do here to make it easy on yourself is move the decimal over one place to the left. So instead of being May 13th, 108.80, it's $10.88, right? Easy enough. May 13th, AMC was at $10.88. That's the date in May where AMC issued shares. The day after, it went to $13.31. This is opening price, by the way. So opening price, this is daily high, and this is low. It went to $13.31 and had a low of $125.70, had a high of $14.34. So we go from $10.88 to $13.33 to $13.67 to $14.25, back down to $12.95, $12.59, $12.61, $12.38, $13.61. And again, that occurred on May 13th. A couple weeks later, on May 26th, we hit $17.76. $17.76 with a high of $19.95. The 27th, we hit $18.61 with a high of $29.76. And on May 28th, we hit $31.81 with a high of $36.72. This occurred on May 13th, 2021, the share issuance, and we didn't start seeing those increases in prices until May 26th, 27th, 28th, June 1st, and June 2nd. Same thing here, September 13th of 2023. We're now on September 25th today. And we're having a minor movement, say from $12.38 to $13.61. Well, that's probably around 8 to 10% as well, currently similar to what we're having right this moment. And again, May 26th, we hit a high of $19.95. May 27th, we hit $29.76. May 28th, we hit $36.72. June 1st, we hit $33.53. This is a closing price. This is the closing price, not the intraday high. And on June 2nd, we hit the closing price of $72.62. The intraday high was around $79 per share. After that, then you saw the stock price start to come down with highs of $68.80, $57.48, back up to $59.68, $60 a share, $53, $51, $49, and then $60 on June 14th, and so on. Let's take a look now that you've seen that for yourself. January 1st, 2021 through, let's go through September 20th, 2020. Sorry, September. I meant February 19th. So let's move on down. And again, you have to account for the reverse split. So you got to move the decimal over. Got to move the decimal over one place. So instead of $22 on January 4th, 2021, the price was $2.20. Let's go with the closing price. $2.20. January 5th, $2.03. $2.23, $2.10, $2.21. And this occurred, the share issuance there occurred on January 15th of 2021. Most of you guys probably know that. If not, you do now. AMC issued, I believe, 22.5 million shares right around there on January 15th. And we had a closing price of $2.55. January 19th, $3.20. January 20th, $3.34. January 21st, $3.06. January 27th, $3.74. January 25th, $4.88. January 26th, $5.19. And on January 27th, it hit $20.36. Obviously, January 28th was the date that the buy button was pulled on AMC and GameStop, 5 minutes into the trading day. And the closing price that day, obviously, because retail could no longer buy, the only thing they could do was exercise call contracts, which would further create further gamma. Hold on one second. All right, I'm not sure if you guys caught that or not, but because my phone glitched out. But January 28th was the day they pulled the buy button. AMC shareholders were no longer able to buy, so the stock price went down to $16.50. And again, the next day was January 29th. It was at $16. The day after that, it was at $17.25. And February 2nd, it was back to $10.01. But that was up from just a few days prior when it was down at $2 a share. $2.03 on January 5th. The share issuance occurred on January 15th, and the real price action didn't happen until January 27th. That was even faster than the June run-up. The number of shares available, the float at the time was bigger than it is now. And a smaller percentage of shares were actually sold. What we're seeing now is AMC share issuance mirroring what happened in the past. Share settlement is what occurs after the issuance, right? Let me adjust this. Share settlement is what occurs after issuance. Look at the share issuance again, May 13th, stock topped June 2nd, January 15th, issuance, stock topped January 28th. This week of September, after the issuance on September 13th, looks the same. It looks the same. We were seeing very similar movements in the stock price as well, and the charts themselves. You guys aren't going to be able to see that on my phone there. Probably not very clearly, at least. But take a look at it on your own charting programs, right? And in case you guys were unaware, Evergrande shares dropped due to their inability to meet their bond payments. Their restructuring is not going to go as planned. And the CEO of Evergrande, as of today, as of just a couple hours ago, has been arrested by the Chinese Communist Party. It doesn't say that here on my Twitter post, but this just happened about an hour or two ago. This post was from like 2 in the morning. Look at what happened when Evergrande opened yesterday. When the news came out that they weren't going to be able to meet their new bond payments for restructuring. China Evergrande Group's main stock went down around 21%, actually more so. Their property services group was down around 12.8%. And their new energy vehicle group was also down 20%. This is absolutely huge. Check this post out from Santa Surfing. She replied to my post there as well. China Evergrande scraps creditor meetings and risk to $20 billion debt restructuring as home sales sag and lawsuits snowball. The developer has canceled meetings scheduled for September 25th and 26th, citing weaker than expected sales and the need to reassess restructuring terms. Meetings were previously adjourned for almost a month after offshore creditors raised more questions about the state of its business and financials. They're struggling to meet their $327 billion of liabilities. They scrapped their creditor meeting. It canceled 4 meetings for 2 classes of its creditors in Hong Kong, set for today and tomorrow. They said, based on the current situation, the company considers it necessary to reassess the terms of the proposed restructuring to meet the objective situation demand of its creditors. They have $327 billion in total liabilities as of June 30th. They offered new bonds, convertible debt, and stakes in their property management and car-making units to appease creditors. Then you've got Country Holdings and Sunac China Holdings that are also collapsing at the same time.
Mommy.
Hey, baby.
Hi, Dada.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
Now, there was 164 lawsuits filed against a company that is owned by Evergrande called Hengda Real Estate Group, involving 12.6 billion yuan and 55 cases to freeze 44.7 billion yuan of its assets, according to an August 30th stock exchange filing. Several executives from its wealth management unit have been detained due to the imposition of criminal coercive measures. They say that supposedly it will not affect its operations, which is absolute bullshit because they probably have no operations. I guess it could be true. So they were expecting to lock creditors into a full agreement by October 1st. But as you guys have seen, what, baby?
Can I see your phone?
Yeah. As you guys have seen, per my discussions with Dr. Marcel Metzler, that's not likely to happen. They are simply kicking the can farther and farther to try to appease people. We are up 10% now on AMC stock, and that is absolutely phenomenal news.
I don't know. What?
And I want to say this to everybody here. If you're mad about the stock price of AMC, then don't be upset with Adam Aron or the AMC board of directors, because they've done nothing but help us. Blame naked short sellers and manipulators, because they are the ones that are dropping the price of AMC stock. That is obvious when you look at the on-balance volume. The on-balance volume shows you that the vast majority of the 4 million plus retail investors in AMC have not sold their shares. As a matter of fact, they've dollar cost averaged down, and many people have reduced their average price, their average cost. I stand with Adam Aron and the board of directors for growing AMC Theaters' bottom line and quality of services. They are profitable and they're paying off their debts quickly. This is a true value investment, in my opinion. They've increased profits, increased revenues, increased earnings before interest, taxes, and deductions. They've increased their number of partnerships, such as Taylor Swift, distributions, and have issued shares to pay off debt. They raised over $250 million off of their most recent September 13th, 2023 share issuance. If you're mad at Adam Aron or the AMC board of directors for the stock price, do yourself a favor and educate yourself. Read a book about market mechanics or just Google it. There are over 50 dark pools in existence that allow for the manipulation and suppression of price action. Over-the-counter trades distort pricing, as well as illegal spoofing, wash sales, synthetic shares, tokenized securities, married and divorced calls and puts, rehypothecations, and more. I could list this for an hour. They all lead to artificial price suppression and reduction of pricing. It moving downward has been completely fake, which is obvious, especially when considering historically high retails, on-balance volume of retail, ever-increasing short interest, and brokerages buy and sell order disparity greatly skewing to the buy side every single day. Not to mention the 110 million failure to delivers that occurred on the date and day after AMC's share merger and convergence and reverse split. Excuse me. This further cements my due diligence in the fact that AMC is the greatest threat to over-leveraged short sellers, with 60 to 70 billion dollars in securities sold, not yet purchased, and they'll stop at nothing to try to persuade retail investors into selling their shares. But they've failed to persuade the vast majority of retail to sell for years at this point, and they're stuck manipulating the prices without being able to close their short positions, as there are insufficient number of shares for them to do so without becoming insolvent. Once again, I would like to say thank you to the naked short sellers out there and the market makers like Ken Griffin and Doug Sifu for failing to deliver hundreds of millions of AMC shares each month. They are the synthetic liquidity fairies, and they have allowed me the opportunity to dollar cost average down and increase my position in AMC shares and options contracts even further. Thank you again, Kenneth Cordell, Bedpost Griffin, and Doug Sifu, for the opportunity that you've blessed me with to be filthy fucking rich. Failures to deliver are indicative of naked short positions, in case you guys didn't know. That's it. Failures to deliver are a clear indication of a lack of shares available to settle long or short positions. And historically, when there are a high number of FTDs, there is a high amount of naked shorting occurring. As you guys may or may not know, prime broker Goldman Sachs was just fined $6 million for naked shorting and mismarking shorts as long over 150 million trades, each trade containing thousands, if not millions, of shares or options contracts. The same thing happened with Citadel Securities. Citadel Securities, just on Friday, was fined $7 million by the Securities Exchange Commission and did not admit guilt, but settled the charges of over the last 5 years in which they mismarked millions and millions of trades instead of marking them as shorts, which are a liability. They mark them as long, which makes them a fake asset. That's exactly what cooking the books means. Now, if you guys want to know more, you're going to see an interview come out on the podcast called The Gist, just in a couple hours here, I think at 2 p.m. Central Time. Look out for it on YouTube, JIST, with Josh Hamilton. We delved into this even further. And if you guys are tired of broker dealers like Citadel Securities using your shares against you, go to litexchange.com or litexchange.app and sign up for more information on a founders program and beta testing for a upcoming broker dealer in which you can trade stocks and crypto. And we're going to send orders directly to lit markets. You're not going to have to worry about trying to download the right app, trying to figure out how to route orders directly to lit exchanges. We're going to do that automatically. Go to litexchange.com for more. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with AMC's price action in the coming days. Again, thank you everybody for joining me. I wish you peace and wealth. Make sure you're properly hedged and act accordingly. Have a great day, motherfuckers.